Where did the phrase "the luck of the Irish" come from? It is a phrase that I heard when I vacationed in America and also when I moved to America, but it is not a phrase that I heard growing up in Ireland at all. I thought it was used in like a sarcastic sense, because if there's one thing that you can say about the Irish, it is not that they're lucky. As a nation, we experience quite a lot of things. Colonization, mass starvation, mass emigration. We nearly lost our language, we nearly lost our culture. I know there's a lot of nations that experienced far worse things than us, but we definitely are not one of the lucky nations. It was always something that I questioned. Why do people say the luck of the Irish? Recently I found out where it came from. When the British decided that they were going to colonize Ireland, Ireland was actually one of the more advanced nations within Europe. We had monasteries, we had universities, we were quite famous for having quite a lot of literates. We were not a nation that looked like or that needed to be colonized. Therefore, the British had to come up with a really good reason to colonize us and a really good justification to colonize us. What they started to do was stereotype us and degrade us and create a derogatory stereotype around us. And what they started to write about us and tell people about us was that we were drunk, we were lazy, we couldn't look after our country, and therefore they needed to send in the troops, they needed to send in these civilized men and families that were going to take over our land and look after us because we couldn't do that ourselves. They created a stereotype of this red-headed, red-faced, drunk man, which, let's be realistic, is still a stereotype to this day, which is so horrible to even think about. That was it. That stereotype stuck. Then when the Irish did anything with their own intelligence and with their skills, they could not allow anything to change that stereotype. So what they did was they said, oh, it's the luck of the Irish. Then obviously with the mass immigration from the famine and from no jobs, low employment, starvation, that stereotype followed them to America. The Irish did so well during the gold rush. Rather than people saying, oh, the Irish are skilled, the Irish are intelligent, the Irish are hard workers, said the luck of the Irish. So there you go, that's where the luck of the Irish is. The funniest, most positive thing of all of this is the Irish, rather than taking that derogatory stereotype, they changed it into something positive. And rather than having a stigma attached to them, they now run about on St. Patrick's Day with t-shirts saying the luck of the Irish.